Welcome to Glamour Travels with Pop Pop. In the past, we documented our travels with the tribe, but now we're going to become travel nomads.
Hey there, I'm Tamara Peacock, and I'm here with my husband Frank Peacock. We are affectionately known as Grandma and Pop Pop, and we are the owners of Grandma Travels.
Yes, I'm Pop Pop. We've been in business since 2016, providing extraordinary vacations for extraordinary people just like you.
And today we decided to come because today's a special day.
Yes, in 90 days, we're going to be homeless.
Yes, we are. We're going to be homeless in 90 days. What does that mean, Frank?
So, what does that mean? Is we have decided to put our furniture in storage that we don't get rid of because we're going to minimize. Put our car in storage as well. And we are going to leave the country for approximately 18 months. We're going to start out in Mexico for 6 months, and we're going to go to Asia for 6 months. We might go to South America a little bit after that. We're going to see. But for this first 6 months, we're going to be in Mexico.
So the thing that I love most about this is that we don't necessarily have a plan. Or not a solid plan. Like, we are not heavily on expectations
No.
for, we just want to be safe.
Correct.
We do have certain goals that we want to reach, like we want to be able to go out once a week, and we want to be able to go to certain places and do certain things, have certain experiences. But I've been thinking a lot lately about the first time that I made a move like this, like a major, major move where I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna, pack up everything I own and go.
When was that? 29 years ago?
29 years ago, right before, yeah, that's when and I was trying to think, like, I kept wondering, like, I know that I remember moving there. God, my memory is getting so bad. This is terrible. But like, I don't even know how long it was before we discussed, like, hey, you want to move here? And I was like, yeah, I'll just leave everything I own and everybody I know and pack up my two kids and move across the country. Like,
Yes.
but
It was before it got cold, so it was in the summer.
yeah.
So it might have been fall, but it was before winter.
Well, I moved there in August. So it was
Okay, yeah,
definitely we had to be talking about it before then. I just don't
yeah.
remember.
I remember that first October going trick or treating.
Not me. I didn't do none of
I know
that.
you didn't do it. Asia was in the stroller. I was trying to hold Mikey and hold Adele's hand at the same time.
Yeah, no. We established early on in the marriage that was not going to be my job. I did not do code. Like,
Oh yeah, that was our first time.
it was. But then I didn't want to leave. And then we had to leave.
Yes.
And we went to California. And then I don't know, we left California and we moved to Indianapolis.
Yes. Then we left Indianapolis.
And we came here to
12 years
Pensacola.
in
Yeah.
13 years for you.
13 years
11
there.
for me.
And we were like, all right, it's too cold.
Yeah.
We missed the beach. And so here we are in Florida.
I feel like we're nomads anyway. This is something that we do. We decide to pick up and go.
Well, here's what I will say. There's never been a move that I've regretted.
I can agree to that.
I've never regretted. Like, I've never been like, oh my God, I really wish I would have done that. Or, oh my God, like, what was I thinking? Like, this is terrible. Like, I didn't go into an abusive relationship with you. Or,
Right.
I didn't go into, a homeless situation. Although we're about to be homeless now. That is by choice.
It is by choice. What for me, when we had this last trip, and we're gone for the 6 weeks, 7 weeks, in fact, because I left for San Diego the week before we left. So what I found out about, there was no stress that I have here in America tied to so many things that we just get so accustomed to doing. Like, these bills are too much. But when did we decide they were too much? Because I mean, we were just used to paying them, and now I'm like, man, this is insane.
Well,
3/3 of my check is the bill.
Okay, let's get into it here. Like, this is the real truth of it. It's not necessarily that the bills are too much or necessarily like because we're so blessed beyond measure to be in the situation that we're in right now. Imagine this is what we always prayed for, right? Like, imagine we pray to be able to make the money that we make right now, right? Like, that's the truth, right?
That is true, definitely.
But along the way, we get caught up in little shiny things, like the fact that we're in a 3-bedroom house and it's just the two of us.
Correct.
Or the fact that, like, I have now downsized my closet for the 4th time in 3 months. Like, I just keep finding things with tags on them and things that it's wasteful, right?
I agree.
So it's not necessarily that the bills are too much, because if we really wanted them, we would find a way to make it happen, right? Like, you would go back to Walgreens, I would go back to, like, we would do whatever we needed to increase our income or to do whatever we wanted to do. What it is that I long for a simpler life.
Right. The increasing of the income just means us going back to work and we spending less time.
But again, the increasing of the income means that the income is the most important thing, because if we can't work with what we have, that's one thing. Like, if you can't, like, there's some waste going on. There's some things that are happening,
definitely.
Definitely. And so I think about it and I'm just like, okay, what's most important? And I remember when I left my 9-to-5 job, at that time, the most important thing to me was time. I wanted to be able to go visit all of my grandchildren wherever they lived across the world and spend as much time with them as I wanted to be able. And that was the most important thing. Like, you have been telling me for years and years, they make you mad, don't work there. Don't work. Just quit it. Like, you had said that my whole life. Like, you really don't have to put up with this if you don't want to put up with this. Like, just so you understand. But there was never anything that was more important to me than contributing to my family until my grandchildren were born. And at that point, I was like, oh, okay, well, Frank said I ain't got to, so I ain't got to. Like, you got it, right? Right. And that's where that became the most important thing. And then here we are, still pretty young in our lives, but now the most important thing for me is us.
Yes. And there's some things I would like to do that if I'm tied to a 9-to-5, can't do. Well, so there's certain sacrifices we made for the family, and now there's some sacrifices I'm willing to make for us.
And it's so funny because, like, growing up, and I'm saying this because we literally just celebrated our 28th wedding anniversary like last week. So, from 19-year-old me to, me now, 28 years later, I think about what was most important always, what remains consistently important to me, and it's the love of my family. It's us holding it together. It's us, and so I just I can't think of one single material possession that I have that I'm like, oh my God, this is the world to me.
Right. And the more we start to go through the things, we realized we never needed this. Why do we have this?
But on top of that, I always knew that we never needed this, because if you remember, like, I was 20 years old saying, as soon as these freaking kids grow up and get out, we moving into a mobile home. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I was like, we are gonna move into a mobile home so they can't catch up with us. Like, they're gonna have to track us down. It ain't no one. Yeah. Like, you're gonna drive me all over. I'm gonna be a passenger princess in this mobile home. Like, that was my goal. That was my dream in life. Like that, like through my whole 20s, all the way up until, like, we started until we got into that house. And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if I really even want to do that. So then I switched and was like, well, I could probably do a tiny house.
Yes, we did. And I was like, no, I cannot do a tiny house.
You could not get out with it. You
I'm
never
there.
could.
I'm
But
there. Now I understand well, I'm starting to understand. I don't understand totally what wants and needs are, because I think I had a tendency to always go with wants over what we need.
But I think we can kind of have both of them. Again, there comes this like it's an American culture thing, right? Like
Yes.
it's not even a it's just not I haven't seen it anywhere else. Like nobody else does the things the way that Americans do the things. Like why are we in a 3-bedroom?
Right.
Why? Why are we in a 3-bedroom?
It seemed like, oh, it was a great idea at the time because it's half of where we used to live. So in my mind, it seemed like, oh, we could go in half.
That house was always such a point of contention within our marriage. Yes. Like people, we don't talk about that kind of stuff, but I never really wanted that house.
Correct.
You didn't. I never, because I'm like, who in the hell is gonna clean this house? Like, who is gonna be doing? And it didn't. And I was right. Like I'm supposed to clean and go to work. Like it's 4,000 square feet a house. Like where in the hell is Florence at? Like.
We had rooms when the kids started to leave the house. We had rooms we never went back into until it was time for us to sell the house. We had boxes that we had packed from California that we never opened, and we just put those out. So even when we decided to leave, we had already started downsizing in our minds.
Babe, we've been in this house for 3 years now. And in that garage is at least 25 boxes that we have not opened in 3 years.
Well, some of them are stuff we decided not to put up. So it's pictures, frames, the china. But there is some things I threw about 3-4 boxes away during spring cleaning too. So I got rid of some, but I know there's still some in there.
Okay, so we've decided that we're moving to Mexico for at least 6 months. We're moving for at least 6 months. We're gonna leave here in the summer.
Yes.
And things that we're doing to get ready for leaving. We've been YouTube junkies. We've got a couple people that we are just really fanatical about watching.
Yes. Move Abroad and Thrive.
Yes, and Mexipat. Is it Mexipats?
Yes. Mexiplans.
Mexiplans.
Yes, Mexiplan.
Mexiplanner or
couple
whatever.
More. It's about 5 or 6.
Yeah, there's some good ones that we follow.
YouTube guys that we follow and watch their videos daily about where we're planning on moving.
Yeah.
Because they're giving us some of the highlights and some of the pitfalls to avoid. Because one thing we want to do is budget. Like we haven't here. And one of the
we budget here. You can't say that we don't budget.
Right, because we're budgeting all to pay for this stuff.
We do. We budget, but like again, it's the shiny things that you have to have that you don't necessarily need or like, you know.
Like for real, why we have a 3-bedroom when we want to travel, so we don't even want to be here.
We don't even want to be here.
It makes
and there's literally just the two of us.
Yes.
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Marie comes and visit us.
Maria does come and visit, but that's why I thought a 2-bedroom would have been perfect. Even when I said it, I said because that way if she comes and she can go, she can stay in the guest room because it's a guest room. And because, I mean, we never have, I mean, like maybe at Christmas time or if there's a storm or something, your family might come, but it's not like we're not doing it like we were doing it in Indiana.
Or in
California. Yeah, we don't have things. So much has changed. Like even when the kids come home, they don't all come home together. I don't even know when the last time. I do know it was 2014. It's been 10 years since they were all in the same house. Yeah, it's been 10 years since all of our children were, and that's and I only had one grandkid on the way at the time.
Yeah,
King was on the way.
We know about King. We didn't know.
Amira was on the way.
Yeah,
That's right.
that was
But
the one we didn't know.
that's the one we didn't know. But King, I had one grandkid,
Yeah, King
and that
was
was
there.
it. So that was 10 years ago. And so it would be wonderful to have everyone here, but it would also be really wonderful to have everyone
Meet us somewhere.
meet us in Punta Cana or meet us in
Yeah.
Mexico. Hey, y'all come to Merida and we can rent an Airbnb for a week or, whatever. It just,
Not even come to Merida. You guys could come to
Cancun,
or Progresso. We could rent an Airbnb and
whatever.
come down there and kick it with you guys.
That's what we tell her. That's what we like to tell our kids. Little Frank will make a way. We'll see him.
Yeah.
He might even just cruise over and be like, Mom, meet me at the cruise port for a couple hours, Mom.
Out about all the transportation. So,
yeah.
And we've been doing our Duolingo. So Grandma used to be pretty good at Spanish. She was fluent. So she's getting back to that, and I'm starting to learn. I'm amazed at how many words I did know.
Yeah, you're actually pretty good at it, right?
No, I'm gonna say I'm okay, but
you're able to follow along.
Yes, they speak slowly on the app. I hope they speak slowly in Merida.
You know what? It's going to be a total immersion experience for the both of us.
Yes, that's what I'm excited about too.
We've never lived in a foreign country. No. Like I've never even attempted to be. I've never been away from America longer than 6 weeks or 7 weeks at a time. Like I've never been away. So just the fact that we're going to be in a situation where we learn about other people's culture and we get to see how other people live on a day-to-day basis, I'm so looking forward to it. I cannot wait. I am most excited about being able to live a slower lifestyle.
Definitely. I one of the things that I am happy that leaving work allowed me to do was to get healthy. Us walking and us eating better, and because true statement, leaving work forced me not to be able to buy fast food every day because I didn't have the money to buy it. So that kind of forced me into eating healthier, which saved my life.
Yeah, and I will say that for me, moving is also a health goal of mine because I've noticed over the past couple of years, especially, that my anxiety and stress level for owning a business has been through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And it is sometimes very, very difficult to deal with people. No, it's not COVID.
About the stress, how I was trying to get through that.
Yeah, but that's not it for me because if you remember, I went in the hospital for and that was in 2018. So that was 2 years before COVID.
Yeah, that was.
So that's not my thing is I am a I work to the point of exhaustion and I'm a hustler. Like I hustle, I have that hustle mentality has been in my brain for so long, and it's a sales job, right? Like I'm trying to get y'all to buy something and I'm working strictly for commission.
Yep.
And so I have these goals that I necessarily have to hit because that's how I am. Like I want to make these things work because if these things work, then I can go do this. So for me, it's been a frame of mind. Like you and I have even had the conversation and I'd be like, Frank, you just be like, whatever. And you don't even care. And I'm like, but how are we going to do it? Like, I need to come up with a plan. I need to do so you just be like, whatever. And I'm like, I can't. And at some point it became so much to where it's taken over parts of my life that I didn't and don't want it to take over.
I think that's one of the reasons I had to get like that, because not being able to sleep because I'm always worried about work. When I used to have to work at 6 in the morning at Walgreens, I wouldn't sleep the night before because I was so worried about work.
And that is such a true statement because, so our anniversary was on Friday, right? Mm-hmm. So Friday, I get a phone call or I get a text message from one of our group members supposed to be going to South Africa. And she's like, I'm not going to make it. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Because I signed a complete contract that said 10 of us were going to go. So if 10 of us don't go, guess who's on the hook for that money? Like, it's just such a disheartening. And so I haven't probably slept good since Friday. Like, honestly, I I just be stressed the hell out. Like, hey, I can't, I'm trying to help. I'm giving it to you for, the cheapest I can find it. I'm working hard to make it look good. I'm doing all of these things to make it an amazing experience. And then, the things come out, and that's life. And I have to roll with those punches, but I'm getting sick of rolling with the punches. Like at this point, I'm kind of like, well, if we move to Mexico and I'm in a different situation, then maybe I don't need to hustle as much.
Right.
And maybe I don't worry about who can or can't make it. And it just becomes this is what we gonna do.
Right.
And if y'all want to come with us, then you're welcome. But if you don't, then that's fine. And I'm not signing any more contracts.
Right. And we gonna still do what we gonna do.
We're always gonna go. Like we never ever flake on the people. Like if we say like we're gonna do it, it just gets done. Like whatever we have to do. So it's really hard, and life happens again. So I do understand that, but it is such a stress for me. Like it's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, I'm not frustrated with the person or the situation. It's just now what's next for me? Like I got this long, I got 90 days.
90 days.
I got 90 days because it's the day that we move, is the day that we make our final payment. So I got 90 days to come up with somebody who can come up with this much money in 90 days to be able to go on this trip with us in 6 months. Like it's very, very stressful. It's a lot. And I'm excited to not need the stress of this anymore. I'm excited to just be like, oh yeah, because we're going to Colombia for the week. So anybody that wants to come to Colombia for the week, come on.
Right.
But so because I feel like I did trade one stress for another, and you the same, because you left Walgreens and you're not as stressed as you are, but I can see you ramping up sometimes, like when you sit on the computer or when you stress about, oh my God, I don't have enough YouTube followers, or, you're constantly, oh, look what happened. I got these people, dropped off our mailing list or this. And I'm like, Frank, don't worry about none of that. Let's just do what we do, and I don't want to see you getting to the stress that you were at before. I don't want to see that for you.
I understand. I'm glad you pay attention. Always have. You tell me to look out for things I never even consider looking out for. If I ever tell you that, I appreciate that.
You're so cute.
Seriously though. So 90 days until we leave.
90 days.
We have a few rooms pretty much cleaned out. However, we had our inspection that we have annually, so I had to put some things back into the rooms for the inspection, but that's okay. So over the next
90 days,
it's gonna be over the next 2 weeks though. I'm gonna clean out the guest bedroom in this place that we call the office again, get everything out there.
Do you think we should have a yard sale?
Yes, I do. I think we should have a yard sale.
I got so much stuff, like all these clothes with like tags on them. Like even if I get like $1 per piece of clothing, like
yes, we should have a yard sale. We can put it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, whatever.
I haven't done one of those, but last time we moved, I sold stuff on OfferUp, so I think we can.
Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah.
So when are we coming back to the people?
So.
I live inside my own